Welcome back to JRG Guitars. Today it's episode 3 in the hollow body build that I'm doing from thefretwire.com. In our last episode I did the fret work, polished up those ends, polished up the frets, crowned, leveled, got them looking good, waiting for the final buff that I'll do once the guitar is complete. Today though we're going to take the neck and the body and we're going to join them together and glue that joint on in so that it'll be one nice solid guitar where then we can move on to the next steps in the finishing. So prior to gluing again, I'm going to do a little bit of sanding and some prep work and double checking to make sure that my scale length is right where I want it, that the fret angle is right where I want it, sort of sand in all those areas that are going to be more difficult to get to once it's glued in, and then we're going to apply that glue, we're going to clamp it in, and we're going to hope for good success on this one. So this is coming right at you. Well, I started with sanding off a little bit of this neck and just trying to get it nice and squared up here so it will fit in there with nice tight corners and everything. The actual neck pocket was a very rough wood joint, so I sanded it down a bit, not wanting to take too much of the wood off. I still wanted a tight fit, but I had to get it to where I could get a nice bond with the glue. Also sanding the front of the neck area that would be difficult to get to, coming in with my fret leveling beam just to make sure that that sand was nice and level, and then dry fitting this in, and boy, it really was crisp. That 90-degree corner there fit in really well, and then coming in to check that my neck angle was just right so my action would be able to set up perfect, and it looked really good. I then went back and sanded the entire guitar body with just a quick rough sand, knowing that it's going to be a little more difficult to sand certainly some of the areas up near the neck once the neck is set in, but I went ahead and sanded all of the guitar while I was here at it, getting in those inside corners with a little PVC roll, and then it was ready to go. I then went in and taped off the entire fretboard so that I wouldn't have any inadvertent glue get on the fretboard itself or any dings or nicks or anything like that. And then when I clamped this in, wanted to make sure nothing could mar it also, although I was going to use blocks and cardboard to make sure nothing got damaged. Alright, so I've mocked up how I'm going to clamp this here. So I have two clamps. My C clamp is going to go around and grab from the end of the fretboard down to here. I have a wood block so I don't mar the wood with a couple pieces of cardboard in between. I then have my another wood block and another clamp that's going to hold from the front, and that will then clamp the front area. So this should hopefully hold it all in there. Just mocking it up so that I know exactly where I'm going to go, because once I apply the glue I want to just get it on and be good. Glue process going to begin. I've got everything laid out, so no time like the present. Hopefully better success this time. So that's right, hoping for good success this time and a neck joint that will hold. So I applied the glue in not too thick of a layer, put some on there and thinned it out with my finger. It really soaked into those thicker wood crevices, but I don't know if my errors last time were with too much glue or too little, but did try to get on just enough if I could. A couple spots on the neck. So after spreading that in on the body, I switched to the neck and put a little bit in those tight corners so that it would press in and up underneath the fretboard corner there, all on the side of it and then on the base of the neck as well, so I would be ready to get this guy in there. Right. As I slid it in, I put a downward pressure and then also back towards the base of the guitar so it would slide all the way in. And again, that 90-degree corner that you could see on the other side, the underside of the fretboard, fit in just perfect, and I was able to then clamp this up. Due to the tripod configuration here, the clamping process is a little bit difficult to see, but you can see I protected the guitar with some masking tape and some wood blocks so the clamps don't dig in and mar the wood. There he goes. Well, I am crazy, so I am still scorned and marred by that previous disaster on my SG build. So I decided I was going to drill out 2 1/2 inch holes and then dowel it with some 1/2 inch wooden dowels with glue affixed, and just make sure that thing doesn't go anywhere. So it is clamped in. I marked my areas and drilled through and went for it. It was a bit of a mess as many shavings went into the guitar, and then as I put the glue in, the glue fell down on the inside as well and got caught up with all those shavings. So as I noticed this conglomeration of glue and wood shavings, I knew I had to get that cleaned up very quickly. So I cleaned it out with a wet paper towel and then hit it in there with my shop vac to get most of it out, because if that thing dried, it'd be a real disaster to get it out of there. And there it is, glued up, doweled up, and ready to set up. Well, the lights go out and the glue is given a chance to set up. With my overkill of drilling out and doweling in those pins, I'm sure this neck will be nice and solid, but I let it sit in the dark for a number of days just to make sure. So, our next episode will move on with finishing, where we're going to go ahead and apply stain. We're going to do some wood grain filling, and we're going to make this thing look nice and get another step along in the process of this build. So as always, thank you for tuning in to JRG Guitars, and thank you very much for staying in here till the end of the video. If you like this type of content, if you enjoyed this video, please consider hitting that like button, pressing the subscribe button, and hitting that bell icon for notifications so you'll know the next time a video is coming out your way. Thank you very much from JRG Guitars. We'll see you next time.
JRG Guitars.